Hello, thank you so much for coming to the interview today for the general management position. We're so excited to have you here.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here and really have a passion. I really like what you've done with the company, and I feel like the vision that you kind of set forth as the CEO of this company has been something that I've been really impressed with. So I'm looking forward to get to know you today.
Perfect. Well, we're just going to start off with some questions. Is that all right?
Excellent.
So first off, what would you say some of your strengths are in your?
Yeah, that's a great question. My strength, I've many years of leadership experience in developing business plans and strategic vision, and able to create a team to bring that vision together and execute on it as well. So I've had many experiences in Franklin Covey when I worked there. I put together a team to help put together a program for some of our top customers and kind of led that effort there, which was something completely different than they had done before, where they'd used it in their own stores, and became very successful, and was able to grow some of the sales there and change some of the ways that they did things there. So yeah, I've done that multiple times, multiple initiatives, and in multiple companies.
That's awesome. Tell me about a challenge or a conflict you faced during work and how you dealt with it.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and unfortunately sometimes that comes up with teammates or members of my team. And I think one thing is it's important that they understand expectations that the company has and that we have in the team. And we had a conflict where somebody wasn't meeting those expectations, and we worked with them several times, and I ended up working with them directly, and came out to do a visit with them. They were one of our sales reps, and sat down with them and talked to them about their plan, and they did not have the plan that they were supposed to have for the visit that I was there. So I actually pulled them out and really kind of went through the expectations so they were very clearly understood. And sometimes it doesn't work out, right? That particular sales rep actually understood that that wasn't maybe the job for him, and we moved on to another person. So sometimes you have to resolve it that way. But I have another example where someone we were working with also wasn't meeting expectations, and we sat down and went through those expectations and encouraged him to kind of step up. He actually changed and became one of our best sales reps. So sometimes it can go either way, and that's part of what leadership is about.
That's awesome. Tell me about a time that you made a mistake and how you rectified it.
Yeah, there was a time where I had one of my managers, and they were, I thought that they hadn't done something that they had done, and I really got on them, really saying, hey, you hadn't completed this particular assignment, hadn't followed up with the customer. And as I went throughout the week, I discovered that they did. And so what I did is I called that manager and said, hey, I'm sorry, probably caused you a lot of stress and probably a little bit too much pressure. So I apologize for that. I said, hey, I want to make sure we're on the same page. You're an important part of this team, and I just want to challenge you. And probably did it a little bit too hurriedly or unexpectedly, and so that kind of caused some stress there. And really kind of reset our expectations and clarified that. Sometimes I'm not always right or what I anticipate, but I think the key thing there is just communicating and clearly understanding where you went wrong, being willing to admit that, and then working to correct that and build up that relationship or correct something that might have gone wrong with the customer.
Wow, that's awesome. What is one area that you're actively working on to improve?
Yeah, I think one of the key things is continuing to make sure that you have clear communication. We have so many messages coming at us, so many emails in the workplace and personally, that to clearly communicate, I think, is important. And a lot of what I like to do, or I'm trying to do better, is communicate the expectations of the subject of the email, so they understand, okay, this is due on July 15th. Kind of outline really quickly so they can understand that to make it more efficient for them. So I'm constantly working on clear communication with my team.
Yeah, it's something that everybody can always be working on, is making sure that everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Tell me about a time you improved a process or workflow.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's so important to improve a workflow. And I have several examples of that. I think one of the things that I try and do is remove obstacles for my team so they can go out and do things. And one of the things is to collect information. I've created a spreadsheet where it allows them to go on a shared drive and enter in the data that they need in terms of some initiatives that we have with some surgeons that we're working with in this particular company to target. So set that out, set it up so they only had to fill out a few fields, and so we didn't have to email back and forth, and just make sure they understood the deadline. And that was a really easy way to collect that data. And then the other thing that I encourage my team to do is focus on the customer first and foremost, and if there are conflicts there, that the customer meetings are always first and foremost. That way we ensure we're engaging there. The team does a really good job, so that simplifies their priorities. Sometimes they feel conflicted if there are meetings that they need to get called into, and they have a conflict with the customer. I always make sure to clear the way for that.
Wow, that's awesome. What does success look like to you?
I think success, especially in the general manager position, is obviously meeting the goals of the company. So my job is to make the company successful. So that definitely looks like that for me, whatever metrics that you set forth in terms of revenue and profitability. But the other part of it is to continue to develop people and make sure that the team is being developed in a way that they're able to achieve their goals. I find when the team is happy and achieving their goals, then the overall company goals are more easily achieved. So it's really making sure that I work to develop the team and build that team culture, and focus on those characteristics or those activities or behaviors that will make us most successful. And that's where I get the most joy, is helping the team succeed. And obviously that makes our company and my job a lot easier.
Oh yeah, for sure. Share a moment when you had to adapt quickly to unexpected change.
Yeah, it's something that happens in a few companies that I've been part of. We've restructured the sales force, and we've had to adapt and change the way that we're running the business and how that sales force is deployed. And one of the key things is to make sure we get through that change curve quickly. Change is hard for people. They have new territories and new focuses, so I want to bring the team in and make sure that I get all their input. And then sometimes I've had to adapt in one particular case, I had two sets of focuses with the team that used to be all together, and so it's keeping that team focused on what they can do. So I've had to adapt my approach to help them see the vision in their new job type and job role, and treat them with some specific goals going forward. So I've had to adapt to that. Yeah, and I think I've had several other examples on that, but I know we're getting short on time.
Give me an example when you had competing priorities and how you managed them.
Yeah, and that's, in a busy role, and as you can imagine, as general manager, I would imagine it has competing priorities. I think it goes back to what I said before, making sure that you understand the purpose, what your main goals are, right? Your mission statement is, and if something's not completely aligned with that mission statement, then that becomes a lower priority. First and foremost, I go through and kind of assess what is going to have the biggest impact on people and obviously the business, and make that my decision making for setting a priority there.
Oh, that's awesome. How do you approach learning something completely new under time pressure?
Yeah, I think the way is to understand what you need to learn, right? And so get that first and foremost, and then set an outline of what you need to do to accomplish it. Set aside some time where you can focus. That's always hard because there are a lot of distractions. But then really hone in on that, and use the tools that you have to learn it. And there's so many great tools out there today, and I'm sure you have some training that helps with that. I know AI can help develop a learning outline or curriculum, so I use those tools to help me learn quickly, and then often rely on some of the experts that I know from the company as well.
That's awesome. And for the last question, how would you define professional growth?
I think professional growth happens a lot of different ways. I think it happens with your ability to take on new challenges and opportunities. That's the biggest way that I found to grow, right? In taking on new projects or new ideas and really seeing them to fruition. And being outside your comfort zone a bit will allow you to have professional growth and really, learn things that you hadn't learned before. So a lot of times we say growth is in the uncomfortable zone. So that's important. I think in this general manager role, it's kind of leading a broader strategic vision and really focusing on the profitability, the manufacturing, as well as the sales and marketing and the other operations that go forward. So that's an opportunity to continue to grow my skills, and I feel like I bring a lot of perspective to this role. And it's something that really sets me apart of having worked for several different companies and being able to see how different things are done from very large to very small, and gives me a unique perspective I think would be of value to this position.
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet you today and to learn more about yourself and your different experiences and your work expertise. We'll for sure be in touch about this position.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
When can I expect to hear back from you? Is there anything that I've said or any question that I can answer that you might have after talking with me?
No, you were awesome with your questions. We have a couple more interviews. You should expect to hear back by around next Friday, I believe.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.